like I was saying, so when you're using the pen tool, it'll essentially make these like anchor points. So like if I just click here, you can see that like little blue square, that's an anchor point. And like no matter where you click, it'll just connect your anchor points. So like this is following the line, but like honestly, you could do whatever you wanted and it'll just like connect it all. But then, it gets a little more complicated when you want to get into curves and stuff like that. So you're going to be using, or like I'm going to be using handles, which essentially help you control how intense your curve is. So to create a handle, you're going to click and hold. So before we were just, clicking and connecting, but when we want to add a handle, we're going to click it and hold it. And you see, whoa, we have these handles come out. And you can really make them however big or small as you want. Okay, bye, Maureen. And then if I'm, going to connect it again, it's going to connect with a curve. So I'm just going to make another handle here. And you can see we have this kind of curve. And, this doesn't exactly match the template that I created. So we're going to click Control. And you can see that, like, how like the pen turns into like a little arrow. That means you're going to be able to manipulate these aspects of your handle. And I'm just going to move them around a little bit to get them exactly how I want them to be. That's like close enough. It's not perfect, but it's like good enough. Okay, so moving on to the next part. We're going to be going from a round curve to a point. So, like we were showing before, it's like if you connect it with a handle, you are going to be able to get like a great curve and stuff, but you're not going to be able to get this like kind of pointy part. So like if I go here and I want to make another one, you can see like no matter what I do, it doesn't really get as pointy as I want it to be. And we're going to have to break the handle in order to get that. So for this, you're going to click Alt, and it's going to either add handles or anchor points, subtract handles and anchor points, or break them. Oh yeah, Kevin is correct. It's pretty much the same as the Illustrator one. I haven't used Illustrator, so can't exactly vouch for that, but they should be very similar. So once you're clicking Alt, you should see this little like upside down V shape, and that's going to mean that you can break the handle. So as you can see here, it turns into like a pointy one, which is exactly what we want. Just going to reposition it a little bit, and then we're going to adjust it to be as we want it to be, which is pretty easy. So we're going to move on. We're going to go into shape practice. So, for the pentagon, I briefly forgot what this is called. For the pentagon, it's pretty straightforward. You're just connecting your points. And because they're all straight lines, it's pretty much a walk in the park. Oh yeah, by the way, make sure when you're wanting to like connect your paths to be like one shape, when you hover over it, there's a little circle. So you can see like a little circle beside the pen symbol. That's going to mean that you're connecting it. If you don't have that, then you're not actually connecting it, even as close as they seem. So make sure you have that circle, and then you highlight. It highlights all the points. So let's try using our handles with an actual shape like this crescent moon. So I'm going to click here. Actually, you know what? I should make this into a handle first. And then I'm going to go here and I'm going to make this a handle too. And we need to do that because, we need to achieve that curve somehow. So I'm going to do this, and we can see it makes this kind of curve. Just going to adjust that. Once again, I'm not going to do it super exactly because I don't want to bore you guys, but that's like close enough. And then I think I'll make one in the middle just to make my life a little easier so I don't have to adjust the curves too much. It's just like a little one. Here we go. And we can see that it's not exactly right. So I'm going to have to break the handle here because we want it to be pointy. I'm going to click Alt. You see that upside down V working out perfectly. Sorry if you can hear my roommates, by the way. Then I'm just going to move this one to be this way. It's pretty intuitive once you get the feel of it. I feel like the pen tool, a lot of people don't like it because it's kind of weird to use. Like you're not actually drawing with it, you're like making all these weird lines, but once you get the hang of it, it's a little more intuitive, definitely. So I am going to break that, and then I'm just going to make this, and we're going to make it pointy. So that's our approximate crescent moon. It's not perfect, but like, no, it's like good enough. Okay, so now we're gonna go on to the last stage of this this demonstration, and it's sort of like I guess an intro into the applications, like actually using the applications of the pen tool. So the first thing is that you want to do. Oh, just kidding. We're doing shape practice 2 methods first. Sorry, I forgot my order. So we're gonna go into 2 methods of shape practice. So the thing I was doing before where I make the handles, you know, it's sort of like a useful method, but it's it can get a little tedious sometimes. So I'm gonna show you guys like a second way you can do it, where personally, I find that sometimes it can be faster. So the approach is that you're just gonna put anchor points wherever you think that you're gonna have to, you know, you're gonna have to make a handle and things like that. So you're not gonna worry about making the handles actually. This is not my handwriting, this is a font. It's a very cute font though. So you're gonna put anchor points wherever you think you might need them, and it's gonna look kind of weird because it's like pointy and stuff, but I'm just gonna ignore that. And we have it like that, and then afterwards you're gonna actually make your handles. So holding Alt again, you know, sort of adding your handles. I feel like this approach is a lot faster because you don't actually have to break as many handles because all of them are broken already. And that, look how fast that was. We made a heart. Very nice, you guys. Okay, so now we're gonna go into what I was actually talking about for the last section, and that's gonna be applications. So I'm gonna go over how to fill and how to do a stroke. So first of all, we're just gonna make a path around this shape as our template. So I'm just gonna use the second method once again, showing you guys how you can just, you know, do it around all of the parts where you think you need an anchor point, holding Alt. Oh, there we go. Holding Alt, adding your handles. This circle is going to be a little long, but it's okay. My perfectionist self is kind of sad that it's not perfect, but it's like good enough. All right, good enough. So when we actually want to make an application to this, we're gonna go into the paths section, I guess, because I've been on the layers, and you really want to make sure that you have a layer here to work on, because if you're on like a folder or anything, it's not going to work. So I'm on this layer. We're going to go to paths. I have work paths here. I'm going to right click it, and let's say we want to make a line around our circle. So I'm going to click stroke subpath. Now your stroke subpath is dependent upon what brush settings you have. Right now I think I just have some like random, like regular old hard brush. You can see around here it's like a yellow shade. So if you want to customize it however you want, you have to do that before you go into this menu. But I'm just going to click OK. And whoa, you guys, we have a thing around our circle. Yay. So it's pretty easy. It's like not too intimidating. And if we wanted to like actually fill it in, let's say we wanted to make the whole circle yellow, then we would go with the same thing. Instead of stroke, we would click fill. And, you know, you guys, I'm kind of new to Photoshop. I don't exactly know what these mean. So I do know it's still based on like the color you chose before, based on here. But I'm just going to click OK. And you can see it fills it right up. So like that's our application of, you know, actually filling in these ones. And of course, if you go to your layers, it actually is here in the layer. So like you can manipulate it, you can do whatever you want with it. It's not actually connected to the vectors that you created beforehand. Yeah, so if nobody has any questions about that, I'm just gonna go into the last section. So the last section is I'm just gonna go over some, well, really one resource. It's called the Bezier game. It's French, so maybe it's like Bezier. I don't really know how to pronounce it. But it's a fun game that kind of helps you to practice and master the pen tool. So like you guys can see here, it's like a guideline of, you know, what to fill in. Yeah, Kevin. It's like, you know, it's pretty easy at the beginning, but later on, it really helps you with skills. Like shift can help you make it so it's like either like a card or like in between. So like you see, I can only go a certain way, keeps it really straight. I think later on they also teach you handles and stuff. Yeah. So this is using handles. I won't bore you guys with it, but if you guys want to try it, it's called. You can search a Bezier game like I did before, and it's a really great way to practice. While also like teaching you these important controls. Yeah. That's the end of my workshop. And thank you very much for listening.